Well, it's a couple of days before Thanksgiving. I'm down here on the bedrock one more time. And what I have done is I have made myself a little unit that I'll kind of lay right here and we can take a quick look at. Alright, what we have here is a mayonnaise jar into which I have secured a couple of pieces of vinyl tubing. Right, basically on the top side here is a short, this is a sucking tube, that's the one I'll put in my mouth and suck on. Right, the longer tube down here is the one that discharges into, let me follow it on down here, into the mayonnaise jar itself, which is unfortunately getting a nasty reflection here, so I don't know if we can really see what's going on in there. Maybe you can see the bottom of the discharge tube going into the actual mayonnaise jar. Alright, and basically this is a unit that anybody can make for like virtually no money. You know, the tubing costs, you know, less than 10 cents a foot, I think. And I'm going to be sucking out this crack right down here. Now this particular crack has been worked, let's see, 1, 2, 3, about 4 different times, right? Every time we've worked this crack, we've gotten gold out of it. The first couple of times it was worked, we got just monster gold. It was unbelievably packed down in here. Right? And the reason it's all packed is, you see this bedrock right here, and that slopes down at about a 30-degree angle right into the crack. Alright? As we look upstream, you can see the main course of the creek runs right down here. Alright? But when this creek gets going, as you can see by all the jumbled boulders and pieces of bedrock here, it is really ripping right along through here. So the water comes up, there's a lower pressure area running down through the vegetation here, and gold, since it likes to go to a lower pressure area in a stream flow, has ended up right down here in this crack. Now what I'll be doing is taking this unit and sucking the crack completely out. Then I'm going to get down and scratch the bottom clay at the bottom of the crack there, right at the V, and see if I can pull up some more material out of there, which hopefully will have some gold in it. So that's today's little project, and I'll be getting back as soon as I get this thing sucked down a little bit. Well, I've been working that crack, and I have to show you, I just took about 4 tablespoons of material out of the crack and threw it in a pan just to see what kind of gold I was getting. And we're going to come over here and take a quick look, because I just panned that out, and it's a little difficult to see at this point, but look at that gold. Hang on, I'm going to get the magnifier out so we can take a look. We got a nice little picker in there. All the stuff is nice and chunky. Let's get the magnifier on here, come down and see if we can get a good look at this gold. That's a little too close. Alright, that is some sweet gold. And like I say, that was about 4 tablespoons of material out of a really thin little crack right at the end of this major crack I'm working. So needless to say, I can't wait to see what I've got in my sucker tube, or the little sucker jar that I made there. Let me get back over here without killing myself. Alright, and we can see the amount of material. You can see right down there, That's the amount of material that I sucked out of that. All the rest is just dirty water up on top. But I'm hoping that that has a nice, reasonable return in gold. But I've already made my day with that 4 teaspoons full. Let me come over and I'll show you the crack and all my bits and pieces here. When I get down to the bottom of the crack, I suck things out either with that sucker bulb, which is an old battery filler, or this is the commercially available sucker bulb that you can get at any prospecting store. Right? And I use that to get way down at the very bottom of the crack, because this tubing I've got sometimes won't get clear to the bottom of the crack. But as you can see, alright, I did suck all that out. The groundwater is pretty high here, so it's starting to fill water back in, but I did suck that all out and get it nice and clean right down to the bottom. And I got right down here at the end. And this little area right here had not been worked at all. That just had all kinds of little round rock and clay that was packed down inside that crack. And I don't know if you can see the size of the crack. Let me stick a tablespoon down there to give you the idea of the scale here. But you know, it's a very, very thin crack. And I had to use some of my skinniest little tools, but I worked the material out of that, and that is where all that gold came from. So that's about 8 inches, maybe 10 inches of a very skinny crack. But if it's unworked and no one has been there, believe me, that gold has stacked up in there for hundreds of years. So that's where I'm at right now. I will be going home and cleaning up, and I'll continue the video when we get some more gold to look at. Well, I'm back home now, and I am thrilled with the gold I got out of those 4 tablespoons yesterday, but it's time to do the rest of the material. I did bring home from that crack and the surrounding environs here almost, I'd say 3/4 of a bucket, a 3-gallon bucket of material. So I'll be classifying that down here. And I also have, of course, the mayonnaise sucker jar. And last but not least, I've got the 2 sucker bulbs that have material in them also. So I'm going to go ahead and process all this stuff, and we'll see how much gold we get out of that. Alright, well, I went ahead and processed that 3/4 of a bucket, which ended up to be half a bucket of classified material. Ran it through my triple little buddy sluice on a recirculator here, and just got the results from the bucket. And here is the gold. Let's put the magnifying glass on here so we can get down and take a nice look at it. Look at the chunky stuff. There we go. Alright. Not as much as I had hoped, but then you got to remember that crack had been cleaned out 3 times before, and so the real good gold is the stuff that just came out of that 7-8 inches of skinny crack that I showed you in the first first portion of the video, should we say. In any case, I still have the mayonnaise jar sucker with material in it, and 2 sucker tubes, so I'm going to go ahead and pan those out and see what we get. Okay, I just panned out the material that was in the 2 sucker bulbs, and we'll take a quick look here at the gold in there. Actually, this is probably better gold than the other one. Let's see if we can find an angle where we can actually see the gold. just out of the sucker bulbs. I still have the mayonnaise bottle left to do, which we'll get to in just one second. I'm trying to find a place that looks pretty much in focus for the gold here, because that was pretty decent for two little sucker bulbs. But then again, those are getting right down into the bottom of the crack, and that's where the gold is hiding. Well, got the material from the mayonnaise jar panned out, and the nicest thing that we have to say about the mayonnaise jar is it showed up with some minus 20 gold, but this is a plus 20. It just popped right up there. Let me see if I can get a good view of it here with the magnifier. Let's see, let's get it out of there. Yeah, I think that's as good a shot as we're going to get. Anyway. Okay, so plus 20, so we got a picker, a plus 20, downright decent amount of gold for working one crack. Had a very nice day yesterday. Until the next time, this is Hertog signing off. Remember, gold prospecting is not a catch and release sport.